it came down. The cyclone that hit us, no joke. I came out here to check on the boat, and on the way here, this car was totaled. It broke the dock that the boats are, the marina. It broke the marina. With the weather being what it is, I'm pretty deaf. I lost a lot of hearing in Iraq, a lot of it in the Marine Corps. Then I lost probably even more riding motorcycles. Then I worked on base around jets for a long time. That didn't help. So, I mean, I got like significant hearing loss in my left ear, substantial hearing loss in my right. I need hearing aids. I'm supposed to go down to the VA hospital and get them. But there's a lot of things I don't hear anymore, and one of them is rain. So it's got to be raining pretty hard for me to hear it. I got to be standing under like a carport roof, or like tin, metal, or I got to be below deck on my boat. So when it rains like this, one, I want to be on the water anyway, and two, I just miss that sound. I don't get to hear it very much anymore. It was one of my favorite noises. So when it rains, I go sit on the boat. One of the things I'm going to have to address right now is the standing water in the cockpit. It means that this drain right here is not functioning properly. This other drain on the other side is connected to the same tube underneath. I'm going to have to go below deck, pull open some of the compartments down there, and start messing with some valves that were put on this boat in 1968. Okay, in order to get to this thing, I have to pull off the companionway stairs, take off the compartment panel behind it, and go into the area that goes underneath the cockpit. And all there is back there is the valve that opens up the cockpit drain, and it's just a through haul. It's just going to go through a series of pipes and goes right out the bottom of the boat. So that's all it is. Right now I'm thinking it's just closed because whatever reason. Anyway, so let's get this thing off. This over there for now. Get some of this stuff out of my way. Alright, so in here we have all this stuff goes underneath the cockpit. And it goes on forever. So what I need to do is mess with that valve right there. And I can see it draining. So yeah, that was just the valve was closed. The drain's not plugged, it's nothing bad. It's just something that should have been opened long before this storm came. It's coming down. It's coming down out there. Look at that. That is the best. That is the very best noise. Followed closely by this. Yep. This is the most satisfying noise ever. People take hearing for granted. You know, my mom did. My mom's pretty deaf. But in the veteran community, it's not just missing legs and arms and shit. It's almost exclusively hearing. Like every veteran has a hearing issue. It's too much for our ears. That's the truth. It's too much. Even the training is nuts on the eardrums. So when you get out, you get the leftovers of whatever tone range or frequency range you can still pick up with your eardrums that are basically worthless. But I can hear this. Once you can't hear this stuff anymore, when you can hear this stuff, it is a big deal. The little things, you know, little things. We're just gonna have a 7 and 7 while this thing drains, because I got some time to kill. I'm gonna listen to the rain anyway, but to keep all my 7-Ups, all my beers, anything I can, it's down in the Bilge. So that is all underwater. So that is definitely going to have to get drained. That is going to get drained the old-fashioned way. So what this is rainwater getting into various nooks and cracks of the cockpit. I noticed when I was turning the valve that the threading was actually leaking a little bit on that pipe, just because it's so old. So what's happened is as it rained, it's dripping down underneath the cockpit in that area that you just saw. It's draining down into the lowest most part of the boat, which is always the bilge. So one of the things that I'm going to do when I pull this boat out is put an automatic bilge pump in the boat. I don't have one. I have a manual bilge pump, which is fine for my needs on a lake. But on days like this, it's nice to have an automatic bilge pump because I don't have to come down and check on the boat. I know for a fact that if it detects water, it automatically kicks itself on and shoves it out of the boat by itself. So I'm on a 1969 Coronado 25, but my first boat was given to me by Tom Miller, which was like a 1980 something Kenner Kittiwake. The Kenner Kittiwake is not a bad boat at all. The one I got wasn't even a bad boat. The issue was I didn't know what I was doing. I'd never seen a boat. I'd never even been on a boat before. Someone handed me a 24-foot pocket yacht basically and was like, take it. Okay. I'm an idiot. I credit that boat for putting something in me that I couldn't shake. But I never got that boat on the water. And I you know what? And it wouldn't have been worth it. Ultimately, that Kenner Kittiwake did not work out. I ended up giving up on that idea and giving that boat away on the trailer to a guy I knew that was in the motorcycle club with me. And I mean, I washed my hands of it with some hard lessons learned. Probably only put maybe $400 or $500 in it before I realized that this boat was gonna cost me $6-7 grand, and it wasn't even worth $1,000. Bilge pump time. So where's it going, you might be wondering. Well, what's going on here is down below deck, underneath that floor, is the bilge. And you've seen it before. It was where all the floating cans were. So what's going to happen is it goes down a pipe that goes up through here, goes through this pump that's a one-way valve in there. It gets sucked through here, and then it goes back towards the stern of the boat. Now it goes back into this transom area. This is the transom. So the water actually gets pumped into this area, and then it sails to the lowest point and then gets expelled out the back of the boat. So right underneath where the outboard motor is a small hole for everything the bilge takes care of to drain out. It's also basically just because that thing fills up the water when you're sailing. Like if you put this on the ocean, that thing's full. Like, I mean, the whole back of the transom is pretty full. So eventually, when you get into your slip, all that water stops getting forced in there from the current or the swells or whatever, and it goes into that little slit and then drains out the back. That's how that works. So on Risque, because I'm only on a yacht, or I'm only on a 25-foot pocket yacht on a lake, there's very little reason to have a super fancy system, you know, when it comes to the bilge. But I have wrecked too many motorcycles in my last, I don't know, 15 years here on Earth. And this left arm here is significantly shorter, smaller than my right arm, because it's been rebuilt by like 4 different orthopedic surgeons. Because I rode bikes like I stole them. And they didn't always stay rubber side up, because I didn't always have a cool, even head on me. So that noise means I can finally stop using my bad arm, because it hurts. So when this boat comes out, it's definitely automatic bilge pump time. You know what I mean? Yeah, my second boat was Millie. You know, found her on Facebook. Lady was selling it. I got it for like $500. It was nothing. You know, 1968 Coronado 25. And I had so much fun with that with my family. Just sailing up and down. I mean, it was the bare bones running rigging on that. But I had just 2 halyards and, you know, 2 sets of sheets, and just maybe there was like 1 fairlead on each side of on each set of tracks on the port and starboard side of the boat. There was like 1 fairlead for the jib sheets each, and it was just such a simple setup. Everything else, I mean, there was no winches. There was nothing around the cockpit for me to really do anything. I had to get up and winch everything and pull everything up like at the bottom of the mast, and that was the only big pain in the ass about it. And I spent 90% of my time on Millie refitting the interior. She was like the practice boat for this boat. I learned how to fiberglass on her, and I was not good at it. More filler. Just cleaning the inside of it, painting the inside of it, getting rid of that like early 70s, late 60s crap. And I learned how to run the electrical. I learned everything I know about DC electric. I learned on Millie. I couldn't stand the way it looked inside. I wanted LED everything. I wanted it to be comfortable, because I wanted my family to be on it every weekend with me. I wanted my family to be on it with me as often as possible. And that's really kind of what we did. We made it like a family project, and I mean, it was a great time. As soon as it was nice inside and reliable, you know, electronics that were reliable, you could charge your phone, it had solar panels on it. Like, as soon as I got that up and running, we took that out for the weekends, and I mean, we were camping up off the boat for days. You know, thunderstorms like this, it was awesome. And you know, my son was so short that he could stand up in here. I can't stand up in here, I'm too tall. But you know, he was short enough at the time where he could stand up and run around. This boat was awesome. And we got tired of the running rigging, and we started looking into how to run all the lines back and how to do all this to get the boat set up so it was more comfortable to sail for us. And I called these guys, and they were like, look, we don't do sailboats, but I've been on sailboats for 20 years. What kind of sailboat do you got? And I said, I have a 1969 Coronado 25. And he goes, you got to be shitting me. And I was like, why, what's up? And he's like, I have a 1968 Coronado 25 that's race rigged. Thing's won the regatta 4 times. It's called Risque, and that's this boat right here. Risque has won the regatta 4 times. Not while I was captaining it, but I was definitely not the skipper for those, but the guy that was named Lou Wagoner. He's too old to sail it now. He's trying to sell it. And I couldn't believe it. Even though I just did probably $700-800 worth of refitting to the inside of my boat, I jumped in my car and I went down to this place. I looked at the running rigging, And I was just amazed by it. It had everything: outhauls, downhauls, Cunninghams. The spinnaker was all set up the way it needed to be. I mean, everything was fine tuned. He added reinforcements to the mast step in here, and I mean, you could fine tune everything. This is a racing boat with the comfort of a Coronado 25, and this guy knew what he was doing. He'd taken good care of the boat, and I got to talking to him, and he goes, I'll sell you the trailer and the boat, and I'll help you swap out your boat with this boat in the slip, and I'll help you do all that stuff. So, but I want this boat to go to someone who loves sailing. And so I bought that boat off him. So, I mean, I bought 2 Coronado 25s probably within 2 years. And so I said bye to Millie, even though I just did all that interior work, and even though I really liked the way the interior looked. This boat, Risque, had all the running rigging you could ever possibly want on a boat, and it works great. So the first thing I did was paint the outside of the boat, and by the outside of it I mean like the freeboard space, which is the space between the top of the deck and the waterline. It's called your freeboard. And then like everywhere that's considered draft, like under the water, so below the waterline is like your draft, how far the boat sticks down under the water. So I did basically the bottom paint is what I did, and I took it from a white boat with kind of like a blue stripe on it to a deep navy blue boat with a white waterline stripe and then the red bottom paint. I've always liked that look, and we did that as a family project too. Me and my wife and my son went out there and we painted that boat, got it ready. Took probably 3 weeks to just do it all on our spare time, a couple hours a day before the sun came up really and really started to scorch the earth like it does out here. And we had a great time. And as soon as it was done painting, we put it on put it in the water and raised the mast and replaced it with Millie. Took Millie's mast, dropped it the hard way. That thing fucking crashed. It fell. And what we did was I gave Millie to a guy who wanted to get into sailing for nothing. I told him if he can come get it and transport it, and then it's his. And he came and got it. And so now I'm on Risque, a boat that's a regatta champion out here. This is the championship boat. It's been 3 or 4 years, I think, since I've had just Risque. Actually, just 2 months ago, I got word on the dock that Mr. Wagner, the skipper who used to own this boat for years, 20 years, passed away. So, I mean, there's a lot of things in this boat that have his name written on it in Sharpie, and I'm not tossing them or whatever. In a lot of ways, this is kind of his legacy.